You know a game I haven't played in a long time? Super Metroid. I think we're going to play some Super Metroid today. How you guys doing? I'm not going to waste your time or mine by doing Series Station. We're just going to jump right into the game, go right down to Planet ZB's, and play some Super Metroid. So the thing about this game is... this looks wrong. This is, the floor seems to be over there, and something's not right. Actually, nothing is right. Everything is left. I think I'm gonna have to bring in my co-host on this one. Say hello, ice cold delicious Pepsi. Okay, so this is Super Metroid Rotation. And this is Super Metroid, and the whole game has been rotated 90 degrees. And it's probably the only Super Metroid ROM hack I've ever really, fully appreciated and enjoyed. But it's gonna take some doing to get through it. There's a lot of wall jumping, especially in the beginning. There's some actually real sticky areas that you would not expect. Of course, they had to make some changes here and there. It's kind of an old hack. I think this made the rounds in 2015 or 2016 or so. So it's been out for a few years now. And yeah, they made some changes to a few rooms, but only when absolutely necessary. I'm pretty sure the hundo is still possible. I'm not really interested in doing a hundo in rotation. Some of the areas are made easier, like this room here. You don't have to fall or climb, you can just run through it. Some areas are way harder, and it's actually possible to get stuck in some places. So why don't you join me? Let's play some Super Metroid Rotation. We're going to go in here to the first elevator, and because the whole world is rotated, the elevators go left instead of down. Does your head hurt yet? Because I think my head might hurt. Alright, so the first thing you have to do in Metroid is get the Morph Ball. So let's go ahead and do that first. None of the items are in different locations. Everything is where you expect it to be. But the first time I tried this ROM hack, I think I watched it at an SGDQ one summer. And I was kind of surprised at which areas of the game were actually more difficult. And I think the first time I played it, I actually got hard stuck in an area that was not possible to get out of. Or at least I couldn't think of a way to get out of. And after a few practice runs, I think I can make my way through the game without getting stuck. We are going to save often, just in case I get somewhere I am not expecting to be. But some items are much easier to get than is typical. In fact, we're going to get one right now. In this room here, the energy tank in this room is not possible to get. The man up here. It's not possible to get on your first pass. You can kind of glitch into it if there are enemies in the room by damage boosting up into it, but that actually is not possible on your first pass, because they don't actually add enemies to the map until you go back up the elevator into criteria. I mean, you can go back up and then immediately ride the elevator. I'm sorry, you can go back right and immediately ride the elevator left if you so choose. But the hitboxes on doors, which are now vertical, is a little wonky sometimes, and we're going to see some strangeness, especially in flooded rooms. Rooms that are filled partially with lava or acid or water, because those rooms get very, very difficult. Maybe difficult is not necessarily always difficult, but very different for sure. One thing we also want to keep in mind is, to make the hack work in some spaces, they have removed gates. Any blue or green gates in the game. I don't know if that's because they can't be made to work in the rotation, like for some reason. I know there are actually still gates in the game. Any gates, the timed gates, the ones that you typically would need Speed Booster to get through, are still in the game. But anyone that you need to shoot to open has been removed. So the one-way sections of the game are no longer one-way. This means predominantly you can get into areas of Meridia and Lower Norfair earlier than you should be able to if you really want to. In fact, I think the speedrun of Rotation actually fights Ridley as the second boss, just because when you're in Norfair clearing out some items, the path to Ridley is just open by default, so you might as well, you know? So we're going to head over here and get some bombs. I will not be fighting Ridley early. Some of the boss rooms are, you'll see, very different as well. They require different strategies and had to kind of relearn things. I think the Ridley fight in particular is actually easier. My Chozo statue here is doing some yoga. We'll leave him to it. We'll let him do his thing, whatever he needs to do. Let him go ahead and wake up. Dragon is much, much harder. Phantoon and Kraid. I think the nature of the Kraid fight, because of how the Kraid fight is, and Crocomire as well, because of the way those fights actually work in the code, their rooms couldn't be rotated. I think those fights are pretty much the same. Maybe Kraid has less room to maneuver a little bit. We, of course, will be skipping Spore Spawn, and there's another boss that we'll be skipping, which is, I will leave as an exercise to the viewer. I need to, I guess, wall jump out of here. This room here was the first part where I got stuck, because here's the thing. You gotta run all the way up here, or actually wall jump all the way up here, and you got these nerds kind of swooping down at you. And you can kill a couple of them on each pass, but what we actually want to do is lure them to one side, and then see if we can jump up to the platform on the other side. And that seems to not be the case. Now they're on both sides, which is not what we want to see. So there's a couple rooms like this kind of situation here, where you have to wall jump very quickly up the room. Ah, okay, good. We got out of there. I wasn't stuck in that room for 20 minutes like I was the first time I tried this hack. Actually, I think the save room is one of the tricky rooms to get out of, if you take the path to the save room in Criteria here. So we won't be using that save room. Oh, I didn't mean to fall all the way down. We're not going back to the ship. And if you fall off the ship, you've got some difficult wall jumping ahead of you. One area that I don't typically do in these runs in Rotator is the Criteria Gauntlet, because it's all the way above you now. And we could bomb jump up there, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Alright, let's go ahead and... Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm actually doing really well. That's a very difficult jump to get up through that little bomb hole that you have to make for yourself. So now instead of a slope that we run down, we have a mountain that we have to drudgingly climb up. A few pixels at a time, Samus is scraping her knees, heading on up. And again, we've got to clear these monsters out from... Oh, actually, that was the only one. The other one's a gamer, and the gamer will just wander away. If you are not comfortable with wall jumping, do not play this hack. One change that I know that they did make is to the liquid physics in the game. Liquid works a little differently, just because of how many rooms you've got to go through that are going to be flooded. I think they made the physics for liquid a little more forgiving. And this room... Actually, you know what? I think this is another change that they have to make necessarily, because there are... Oh, there's a power bomb block. I can't get in here. Oh, I can get in here. Because the crumble blocks you typically fall through are no longer crumble blocks. Some areas are accessible from directions that they shouldn't be. So I think we can get all these missiles right now. We just do the gauntlet from the wrong direction. But if I go into the room, you're going to have to take my word for this, because you're thinking I could just go through the top of the gauntlet and go into the room, right? And go through and get the energy tank. The problem with that is, I wonder how much of this I can actually show you before it becomes an actual problem. Let's see how much... I might die here and have to start the whole run over. If that's the case... Yeah, you see? The whole room is filled with acid. So we'd have to go all the way down through that acid to get our E-Tank. And the reason for that is, in vanilla game, obviously, that room is a cave with rising and falling acid that kind of gets in your way. And in any rooms like that in the game, instead of the acid still fills up about half of the room, but now half of the room is many, many screens, because each room is much, much taller. So the gauntlet is not a great idea, but getting a few extra missiles never hurt nobody. We just have to let this guy not shoot us, because these guys can shoot through walls and we can't. I see how it's going to be. You guys are trying to cheap shot me. So if you've never seen this before, as an exercise going through the game, try to think of what rooms are going to be easier and what rooms are going to be harder as we go through. Because I guarantee the answer is going to surprise you. It's not always the rooms that you think it's going to be. Which is part of the fun. To me, I like having ROM hacks that still keep like 1 foot in the world of reliability, like familiarity, maybe a better word. I still want to kind of have some connection to the reality of the game. It's one of the reasons I actually like randomizers so much. Is a randomizer, yeah, everything's moved around, but usually the randomizer is anchored in the reality of the game. And in this room, I want to stay to the right, and I'll just fall through the speed platforms. Well, maybe not. I have to stay to the right, but not all the way to the right. Well, unless there's... Maybe I am stuck here. We're stuck already. No, we gotta do this. That's it. You can't shoot that block out, you gotta bomb it out. This is a situation where we would have been stuck in the randomizer if we hadn't gotten any bombs or power bombs yet. Or if we gotten only power bombs and used them all before we got into this room. I'm glad this block regrows. That makes my life a little easier. We have to do a perfect mid-air morph to get up through here. But first we have to bomb the block open. Because that pipe is in the way. And the pipes work a little strangely too. Oh, I didn't push down enough. Actually, I guess that works. You just... It's like a Metroid 1 trick where you just let the block grow on top of you and push you upwards. Let's try that again. So yeah, we actually want to fall to the right, but we want to fall to the left of the platform here. Like this. Then they just let us through right here. Haha! And don't worry, we get to do another one of those extremely precise mid-air morphs to get out of this area once we get our super missiles. You do have to be crazy to make or play a ROM hack like this. I don't know what that says about me, particularly, but anything you can do to take a game that I'm familiar with and mix it up just a little bit to make everything a little different, maybe a little fresh, because I did find it very exhilarating playing through this game and identifying the spots where things were strange, like in different rooms that were more difficult like this room I'm about to go into is another spot where it's possible to get stuck for a long time. Because instead of having like a long hallway with bouncy guys, you got a long shaft. And bouncy guys just fall out of the sky. And then we got this man here. We really do want to kill this guy. We don't want to let any of these people alive, because if we take any damage, it ends our spin jump. And therefore our wall jump. There's a couple shafts like this in the game where you just kind of work your way up. Kill the monsters. Excuse you. I thought there was only 2 of the bouncy guys in the shaft, but no, I guess there's 3. And then when we get all the way to the top... Oh, I shot the wrong direction there. If I'd have fired up instead of down, I would have hit that thing. These kind of challenges, though, in this ROM hack, take all the energy we can get here. Oh, there's one more guy. These kind of challenges where you got to clear the shafts out, they're kind of front-loaded, because eventually we'll have the high jump boots, we'll have the space jump eventually. So when we get to the hardest sections of the game, especially lower Norfair, we won't have to be doing this kind of challenge anymore, but then the challenges, there's a different kind. And this D-pad, I think I mentioned this D-pad in a couple of my Let's Plays now, is, it's got a little too much travel on it. I use an 8-bit-do SNES style Switch controller as my primary PC controller these days. And it feels good, except the D-pad is a little too slippy, which makes it a little too easy to push up or down when you don't want to. This is also a space where the Zero Mission style spin jump button would come in very handy. Because if you get into a situation like this, you don't have to fall all the way down. You'd be able to push the jump button in midair to start spinning again. I wonder how many Super Metroid hacks add that in. I know some Super Metroid hacks do screw around with the physics a little bit. This one does. As we'll see when we get to some water sections. For the most part, though, unless you find a room you absolutely can't get out of, like this, most of the tricks you have to do in this game are still pretty forgiving. And you can try them as much as you need to before you finally get out. But I am curious to see your guys' guesses. What rooms are going to be the most surprisingly difficult ones? Because I can virtually guarantee they're not the ones that you think. I think some of the doors had to change, too, here and there. Because now horizontal doors are vertical and vertical doors are horizontal. And I couldn't swear to this, but I remember something about horizontal and vertical doors in Super Metroid like being a little different, like working a little differently. So that might have had to change as well. Like they might have had to go through and replace all the doors. There's also a block at the top of the screen and a block at the bottom of the screen that you can't see on the map, but are present in the game world. I think some of that, especially on the top, I think it's because it's covered up by the ammo counts and the map and the energy and everything up there. But there are some screens, like you might have seen in the previous shaft, you'll be standing on what looks like nothing, and there's actually a block in the bottom of the screen. Just go ahead and... This is much easier to get, though. No tricks required, just blow your way through. Because it's underneath you now, you're standing on top of it. And some areas of this hack put you into like a false sense of simplicity, because you'll fall through rooms like that and be like, oh, that room, like, I didn't have to fight through it. I just fell straight to the bottom and all the way through the door. But then you have to turn around and go back up, and you're like, oh. Oh, I see now. So we have to kill the 2 hidden men here, the 2 hidden monsters. Because if you don't, that's a good way to take really stupid damage here. Now let's open the door. I have been saying, as our Metroid journey has taken us through several iterations of the game now, that if you can finish the game, you can basically do everything that I'm doing. I think I might retract that statement for Metroid Rotation. There's a lot more going on in this hack than just knowing how to do the tricks. You also have to know the maps extremely well. Know what rooms you don't want to poke your nose into. The good news is, I don't think there are any items that are going to be impossible to retrieve. I think all the items in the game especially those on the critical path, are still going to be there for us, and some of them are even going to be a little easier to retrieve. Always weirds me out where you can stand and where you can't in that little tunnel. I don't know if that's something that had been changed, or if that's something that... if it's just a... if the world is always shaped like that, and I just noticed it now in the rotator. And there's a few rooms, like especially large Meridia rooms, I find this is true in, that I just can't keep the shape of in my head, so they end up being... very, very difficult to traverse, just because I can't keep the whole map in my head at once. Oh, we don't want to hold right. Oh no, we don't want to... this is the new bridge, and we don't want to be on the wrong side of the new bridge. Okay, we're good. You do not want to fall on the wrong side of the new bridge, trust me. Fortunately, we're going into Pink Brinstar now. I could go straight up here and get some power bombs, but I don't really want to go that way yet. It's kind of annoying, because you've got to go through a spike and floor tooth room. And you have to climb your way back up out of it, and it's just, ugh, big pain. A lot of these rooms, the charge stations, the save rooms, have been edited slightly so that you can still access the actual machines. Alright, ready to go into some water? Here we go. So again, I find Samus's... ooh, I want to get this Spazer, don't I? I find Samus's... movement underwater kind of tricky to describe. But if you jump from a ducking position, you jump a little bit higher. And if you duck while in midair, it shortens Samus's sprite a little bit. And you need to use both techniques to get out of the water right there. I think I want to get the Spazer. Oh, I do have to go all the way back down. There's not a way to jump from that position, because you have to be kneeling there. But we do definitely want the Spazer. Why not? Why not take it? It's right here. Actually, I wonder if that door is in my way up there. That's a possibility. Ooh, maybe I can go in through the... I didn't think about this. Maybe I can go in through the exit hole. You can. Oh, no, there's a crumble block there. See, they put that crumble block in a different location to make sure that you couldn't take that path. Fair enough. I have been outsmarted once again. But in the end... excuse me. Wasted a super missile there. I was just talking about how smart I am, and then I wasted a super missile at the same time. Oh, well... Alright, now we have the Spritzer. We have a slightly wider beam. This room here is not fun to get out of. I think I've got to bomb that. Oh, no, I don't, because I can use... Actually, maybe I do. Maybe I should have got power bombs. Because getting up into that crevice, you don't have a lot of room to wall jump there. They're like, why would we help the player out? Let's make them do this room over and over again. Did you guys want to see a whole Let's Play series of me just doing wall jumps over and over again? Because that's what we've signed up for. It's what we're here to do. I'd fast forward it, but we're all in this together. Okay, I've got the block. One more successful entrance, and we should be good to go. Then I think it's smooth sailing until Kraid. Alright. Going for a swim. So the fun thing is, there's nowhere to place a power bomb in that room. You don't have anywhere to stand. The tube just drops straight through. There's absolutely no way to blow that up from inside the tube. So what I'm going to do... Typically, I would go to Kraid right now. But, because the rotator has much trickier jumps, I'm going to actually go in here first. Take the high jump boots, which will just help me in Kraid's area of the map. Can I? I'm going to wait for this guy to come all the way back around, because I don't want to get into a situation where I'm stuck here. We can see his progress. There he comes. Alright. Let's go open the door, and then we'll leave. I want to make sure I get the door open while I can still access it from this side. I don't want to fall through it either, though. The high jump boots will make things a little easier just because we'll be able to make jumps that we otherwise couldn't. And personally, I find doing a mid-air morph to get into those tight, high ball tunnels to be easier to do from just a standing high jump than from, say, a spin jump, which means a wall jump. It's easier for me to just jump to the hole and morph than try to wall jump to the hole and morph. Which is why I'm doing it that way. I will also be using the handy dandy save point here. A pre-Kraid safety save? What? Okay, so now that I've got high jump, I should just be able to hit the doors. Yeah, we can jump a full screen vertically as long as we duck first. So no more last second wall jumping to get through a door that's above my head now. Alright, let's head back right into Brinstar. It's where Kraid lives. Some items are more valuable in Rotator, obviously. Some items are less valuable. Because you have fewer straight hallways to run on, the speed booster is actually very, very situational at best. Oops. I knew that was going to happen. Tried to mid-air morph through the door and went through the door instead. Okay, well, we don't want to accidentally open this door or else we're just going to be in Door Town forever. So let's do a double bomb jump instead. That's going to be a fun tunnel to get back up, but as you can see, we've already kind of done worse. I'm just going to screw attack these key hunters here. Hurry up, buddy. Ah, I knew there was one more. See, I think Kraid's room has changed, but I don't think it makes a difference to the fight. The actual monsters don't rotate at all. Oh, I've got to kill all those guys. I'll kill them on the way back up. Little mini Kraid actually has a more difficult time hitting you. It's just easier to screw attack these guys. The thing is, though, if you hold the shot button, you actually can't wall jump. When you try to wall jump, you will lose your spin. I don't know why that happens, so what you have to do, if you want to do a maneuver like this, is jump at the wall and release the shot button before you wall jump. You'll hold your charge until you either contact an enemy or land on the ground. If you land on the ground, you will just fire immediately upon landing. I don't know why, it's just a weird quirk of the game engine. Alright, what you got, Kraid? So we're going to be a little cramped for space, but in my opinion, it's actually going to make Kraid a little easier. Because he can't walk backwards from me as easily. It is notable that you can actually stand on this green spikety stuff. I think it's better if we stand on the blue stuff over here, though. I think I always fire 2 supers there and I never hit him. Can I wall jump off of Kraid? There we go, that's what we want to do. Oh, nope, never mind. I forgot he did this. He actually backs into the wall like a chump. One more. I think either a missile or a super will get him at this point. Right in the face. And I've still got a super left. Beautiful. See, I know Kraid's not supposed to back through the wall like that. But even though, if you look at the map, that looks like a 2x2 room. It looks like it's 2 blocks wide by 2 blocks tall. But the room is a little wider than it is tall, normally. And it's because of the UI element. The game, I think SNES games like this run at a 240 by 240 resolution, but that doesn't mean that all the rooms in the game are perfectly square, because every room is a little wider than it is tall, because you have some space at the top for the UI. And so Kraid is able to walk a UI's width distance into the wall. I'd be doing a lot of goofy wall jumps here if I didn't have the high jump boots. The other thing you have to kind of get used to is you're not really going through doors. When you go up through them, you kind of have to aim at where you know the door transition is, which the door graphic is much larger than. Just a little quirk you kind of have to get used to. You're kind of aiming at a midpoint of the actual door rather than in the original vanilla game where everything is just kind of measured out, so everything is easily accessible. And there are some areas we gotta wall jump off the last block to get enough height to get up through the door. Alright, that was fun. Let's do some Norfair, huh? So we are going to get the speed booster. I did mention the speed booster is a little bit devalued, but there's one puzzle in the game that still requires it. And actually, I think it's only one room. I don't think I can think of a second room where the speed booster is even usable. There you have to just know how high you're getting on your jump, because you're jumping into a tunnel, you can't see your sprite. You just got to know how high you're going to be to know when to place that bomb. Come here, guys. Let me tell you a bedtime story. It goes like this. Boom! Good story. Ah, there's my E-Tank. So yeah, we're going to go down to Norfair, but here's the problem. Typically, you get the Varia suit going to Norfair, and the Varia suit protects you from the heated rooms of Norfair, from the ambient heat. The problem we're going to have, though, is a lot of those rooms have lava at the bottom, which means they're flooded, and we're going to have to drop down into the lava, and that's gross and weird, and the Various suit does not protect you from lava damage. What is a boy to do? Well, first we're going to safety save again. And you can do the lava run. You can just sink down through the lava and navigate through. The liquid physics are a little more forgiving. But... Actually, I wonder if I should go get the ice beam first. You typically need... Nah, not need the speed booster to get the ice beam, but... No, there's a lava room you gotta go through to get to the ice beam. So we're actually gonna save and... I think what I'm gonna do is save, and then go get the ice beam in case I screw up this lava room. And you'll see what I mean about the lava rooms tripping you up. So the first room we're gonna go through is one you typically either have to run or mockball through. What we're gonna do is just wall jump quickly up the left wall. For some reason, I don't think you can make it through the first shutter, but the rest of them we shouldn't have any trouble getting through. Nice. Okay. This room here is a lava room. You remember, this is the one where you have the little moving platforms going back and forth in the lava. Well, now it looks like this. And most of Norfair looks like that now. And you still can make that run. You can still go to get to the green bubble room, which is where you access your speed booster and your wave beam. You know how it is. You can still do it. You've got plenty of energy if you know the rooms well enough. But that's not going to be how we do it, because there's an alternate path. Because if you recall, there are two hallways in Norfair that are not passable without the speed booster. One of which we knew, coming back from the green bubble room. The other one we actually found out in a previous recording. I didn't know it was blocked off till I tried to do a hell run through it. So, to make sure those rooms are traversable, they've actually altered them a little bit. Which means they're traversable from either direction without the speed booster, which means we can access the green bubble room without having to go through any lava. At least if you're going down through the lava, you can just fall. So, we're going to drop another safety save. We're still going to pick up all the usual Norfair stuff. We're going to get the speed booster. We got the ice beam. I'll definitely get the wave beam. That wave beam's good time. That's something you don't want to miss. Maybe instead of counting items that I've gotten for this run, I should just count how many times I saved, because I think I'm going to set a new record. So this room here typically is not traversable without the speed booster. What they've done is just removed some of these blocks out of the way, so you can fall all the way down and not have to worry about it. Otherwise, there's too many of those lava rooms like that. Here we are in the green bubble room. We're going to go through this way first. Where's my crawly? There he is. Let's do a couple of mid-air morphs. Now, do I want to use the save room here or not? So the reserve tank room I don't think is worth it, personally, because every room you have to go through in the area is a lava room, and you get a couple missile tanks in a reserve tank. I don't think they're worth it. And I also don't, like, to get to the save room, because of the shape of the room, you can't easily wall jump to it. I guess I could freeze a guy and get up to the save room. But I want you to think about it. Think about what the path leading to the speed booster looks like in the vanilla game. And think about what it's going to do in the rotator and how it's going to change the way that room works. Because it's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty nifty. And I like it a lot. Because what happens when you pick up the speed booster in this tunnel, if you're not familiar... Oops, I didn't mean to waste that. If you're not familiar, what typically happens is the speed booster causes lava to start rising in the tunnel, but if you're running, you will avoid the rising lava. We won't be running. That is not our mission in life today. Our mission is to climb the tunnel with wall jumps before the lava catches up to us. First time I did this, I think I accidentally wall jumped into one of those spikes and fell all the way back down to the bottom, which isn't fun for everybody. I don't recommend it. But as long as you kind of know what you're doing and stick to the left wall and keep a cool head and maybe get hit by a drill bat or 2 or 3. I think there's actually only 2 in the room though. Escaping the rising lava, because it's got to rise a lot farther before it catches you, right? Like, it's not going to just, It's not like the actual speed booster room where if you don't speed booster, the lava catches you as a matter of course. So we got the speed booster, now let's go get the wave beam. And if we were to drop through the hole in the wall here and go down through this path, we would end up in Lower Norfair. Not really interested in that, gotta be honest with you. Not really down for that. There's actually a couple of items you could get pretty easily in that area, including an energy tank if you really wanted an extra energy tank at this point in the game. But I like that energy tank to be there for after I'm done with Ridley, and you'll see why after I'm done with Ridley. Oh, I guess I missed that missile tank up there. Oh, well. Alright, so that's the wave beam, and I guess now we're going to make our way up to the wrecked ship. No, we can get the missile tank here. It's fine. It's on the way. We might as well. I don't know to what degree, if any at all, the creator of this ROM hack intended you to use glitches to get through areas. Like, I know that we saw that the randomizer can require glitches in certain situations. I don't know if that's the case here. I think, like, even the mock ball, I can't really think of anywhere mock ball is going to be super useful in the rotation, but some of the Meridia animal glitches might be. I don't think we'll be using any. Really, if you can precisely wall jump, you should be pretty much okay. You know, I'm going to grab this missile tank down here, I think. Oh, no, I didn't miss the one above. I got it in the end anyway. I don't want to be going through with 5 fewer missiles than I typically have at this stage of the game. I do have 10 more missiles than I typically have at this stage in the game because we went and did the gauntlet, and I have 1 extra energy tank that I usually don't have because you can get it out of Blue Brinstar without any assistance. And we are, of course, going to not fight Crocomire. The Crocomire room has, like, special coding. It doesn't get rotated. I think we are going to have to super missile some fleas, though. Yeah, we're good. So this room, which is not typically traversable without the speed booster, has been made traversable specifically because I don't think he wanted to create any points in the game which would not be accessible. Like, you don't want to have a hallway that you now can't get through. There's one room in the game in particular that I think is the worst room in the rotation. By which I mean it was the one, it caught me the most off guard for how difficult it is to traverse. and like you have to almost relearn Metroid movement from scratch. I want to see if you guys can guess which room it is, just thinking about what you know about the layout of the game. So we got some power bombs. This room here, you got to make sure that you spin jump through the door. Otherwise, you got a wall jump to get up and out. There's nowhere to land in there. If you go up and through, then... and you're not spin jumping, you just fall back down. And that's not of any value to anyone. Oh, having a high jump makes that room so much easier. Hey, that was a mean trick. Okay, so... one thing they've changed is the wall jump is actually a lot more useful underwater. I'm not sure if we can... yeah, we can single wall jump here. As long as you got the high jump boots, I think. Samus is not supposed to be able to wall jump that well underwater. They had to alter the water physics a little bit because of the way the liquid works. I'm going to go ahead and take this charge one more time. And that's a good thing. Like, that means the people who made this ROM hack, they put it together. They're like, you know what we need to do is actually think about what rotating the whole game is going to do. Make sure the various rooms are still traversable. Even if not in the standard way that people are expecting. We still want people to be able to get through the ROM hack, right? And I actually prefer this kind of challenge to something like a hardcore difficulty challenge, something like Super Metroid Impossible. There's another one called Super Metroid Redesign, which got recommended to me. Look how bad this room would have been to try to wall jump back up through it. I mean, I could have made it, but what can we do with an extra, with early power bombs? Not really much of anything. We're about to come up on an example of a room that's actually much easier in the rotator, because you guys remember the yellow bounty spiny sand spur dudes? They don't jump at you in the rotator because they're trying to jump up, but up is the wrong direction. So you just wall jump where you need to go, and it's wonderful. The next room, however, is much more difficult in the rotator, where we're going to get our next pack of power bombs. And we're coming up on Phantoon. I think Phantoon is basically the same. There's a little less room to maneuver while fighting him, because as I mentioned, rooms tend to be a little bit wider than they are tall, just by like 2 blocks. But I don't think Phantoon, I don't think the fight changes materially the way that Kraid... well, Kraid changed a little bit. The Dragon and Ridley fights change quite a bit, though, because the shapes of their rooms are very integral to... do I want to save? Do I want a safety save here? I think I do, because I think this room we're about to go into is an enormous pain. You guys are also going to have to think about, okay, I made a big deal in the previous recordings about how I like how the Meridia entrance isn't actually the Meridia entrance. But now that you can't go through the glass tube, you can't power bomb it, how are we going to get into Meridia? Okay, I think I just want to... oh, that's right. They're on the ceiling. We're fine. We don't need to worry about these guys very much at all. We just put a power bomb down. I thought they were going to be on the floor, and that would have been very, very upsetting to me. No, this is bad. Oh, we got out of there. Good. Whew. As long as we hold right, I think we're fine. Okay, we land right on that block, which is exactly where we want to be. More power bombs. Are you looking forward to seeing what the Rex ship walking Chozo statue does? I wasn't even thinking about the Rex ship walking Chozo statue the first time I played this, so it caught me completely off guard when it did the hilarious thing that it does. You fell off your wall. That's not very, it's not very neighborly of me. The good news is we don't have to shine spark into the wrecked ship now. I missed my missiles. That's fine. We could just fall into the wrecked ship. You might even be able to go up the top way up there. Up through the hole where you usually find a missile pack. I've never actually tried that. I wonder if it's possible. But what this means is we're going to walk into Phantoon with a lot more energy than I typically have when I fight him. Typically I'm walking in there with like one tank maybe. So there should be a hole in the ceiling right there. You can't see it because of the UI is in the way, but it's... I mean, I gotta bomb it. That should do it. Oh, let's do this. That did it. And it's the good old spikety room. These platforms are conveniently in the spikety room, and they're actually useful even when the power's not turned on. One of the test plays I did for Vanilla Super Metroid, I forgot to get this before fighting Phantoon, and this room with power turned on is extremely difficult. And I resolved to not do that again. And as far as I know, I never have, as long as I live. Love Brickroad, the end. Down we go. And yeah, you'll just see we're a little bit more cramped than usual, but it's not bad. By about maybe 2 blocks in each direction. We can still spin jump through all of this part here if we want to. Alright, buddy, where you at? Where you at? Okay. Other than that, the Phantoon fight's going to be pretty much the same. It's got about 4 blocks less space total. And you can get closer to the top of the screen, which means he can get closer to the top of the screen, but I don't think that actually matters. Because he tends to just fly around anyway. He's doing what he's got to do. You know, everybody does what they got to do. Oh, he's gone. I think I hit 3 missiles by accident. Oh, we're not doing waves then. We're going straight into... We're going straight into muckety-muck nonsense. I picked up a spare super there, so I had to throw one at the wall just to make sure that the karmic balance of the universe was maintained. You wouldn't want there to be an extra super missile floating around. That's something we learned during the Cold War. Pretty sure there was a James Bond movie about that. Alright, man, you're looking pretty dark brown now. Oh, man, I just finished a jigsaw puzzle. I got a jigsaw puzzle. I got a stack of jigsaw puzzles for Christmas. Everybody knows I love jigsaw puzzles. Got him. But it's a jigsaw puzzle based on the board game Villainous, which is a Disney board game. One of the characters you can play is Jafar, being one of the most famous Disney villains. And somebody got me the jigsaw puzzle for Jafar, and all of the cards from the game are arranged on this puzzle. But so much of the puzzle was just like this weird dark brown. It was a little challenging to put together. Alright, we can do the wrecked ship now. Whoops, you came out of the floor to say hi. Brickroad, the attic is probably going to be fun. Is that the room you're talking about that's really super difficult to get through? Nope, just a pain in the butt, that's all. Or should I say more of a pain in the butt than usual. This time we don't have to go through the spike room E-tank. We got that going for us. We have no need to go in there whatsoever. I'm actually not totally certain it's possible, to be honest with you. It might not actually be tenable because of the way that the water would work in those rooms. We might have to wait until we have the gravity suit if we wanted to go in there at all. Spoilers, I don't. So I'm not. And I can't. And I didn't. I need you to back off, son. Or maybe I don't. No, I want to go through here. That's right. Okay. I'm actually a little surprised that the electric drips do seem to work correctly. They do seem to drip the proper directions. Because I've been caught by electric drips on these areas here. It's also nice to know that you can actually... Woo! I'm going to hit the save point anyway, because I've got 53 energy, and I don't know how filled my reserve tanks are, and I have one fewer reserve tank than I normally do. I need to use a power bomb here, actually, because if I use a regular bomb, I risk opening the door, and I don't want to open the door. Doors are mean and bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to hit this save room up here. The flashing door is not the save room. Hi there, buddy. Let's not accidentally go through... Oh, this is going to be a ball situation here, isn't it? A Mineramorph, I think. Getting up and over here. I think. Maybe we can powerbomb something open. How did this fit together? Oh, it just gets destroyed. Okay, with bombs. Down we go. Yeah, when you're rocking 38 energy, the thing to do is take a safety save. I'm not sure how filled my reserves are, and I didn't take the Norfair reserve tank, so... Actually, I don't have one more energy tank than usual, because I took the Brinstar one, but I'm lacking the Norfair reserve tank, which I normally do take. And there's other... It'll even out in the end, because we're... Actually, it won't even out in the end, because we're not going to go back for that Norfair reserve tank. We're going to be down one the whole time. Oops. Maybe I'll go take Mama Turtle. I usually don't take Mama Turtle, but... Yep, there's this room now. But it should be fine. We'll just be cognizant of everything. We don't actually have to get the item down there. It's just a missile pack, and I'm not interested. So we're just going to climb the room and kill the bad guys as we go. You there. And his friend, Rodriguez the Godstopper. That was him. That was Rodriguez the Gobstopper. Where's my man? There he is. Excuse you. Oh, he's getting jiggity with it, huh? Oh, no, we got him. Almost there. Yeah, see, I got dripped on by an electric console that's not supposed to drip in vanilla. I wonder if those all had to be coded specifically, or if they're coded like that in the game already, and they just don't drip because they're not oriented that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be... Like, the floor ones are dripping. That's so weird. I mean, I'm glad they do, because it keeps some verisimilitude in the game. Or in this version of the game, I should say. Welcome to the hardest room in the game. So this is the enormous criteria room that we have to cross in order to get to the gravity suit entrance. The gravity suit entrance is not open from the other direction. So, but it's all underwater. because the room is mostly flooded. Even though we're all the way at the top in the sky area, it's flooded because we're towards the bottom of the room. So we're going to use the duck jump thing to kind of get some height here and climb these rocks one at a time until we get here. And as far as I can tell, the only way out of this is a Hail Mary wall jump. Oh, did we make it? Oh, we did. Oh my goodness, that was extremely fast. But I still might fall all the way back down. In fact, let's be very careful not to do that. I cannot believe the speed at which I got through that room. I thought I was going to be stuck in that room going swimming for all the rest of time. Most excellent. Now we just have to fall straight to the gravity suit. I guess I'll get the wrecked ship reserve tank. This is your treat for getting through the most obnoxious room in the game, is this right here. If you're not looking at the screen, you want to turn around right now. Right now. Because this shizzle was wacky. That's all I'm going to say. You can go ahead and print that on my tombstone. Brickroad. The shizzle was wacky. What? What is he doing? He's just chozoing me, man. That's all. He's just chozoing me. As you do. Sometimes in life you just gotta get chozoed. You heard? Alright, let's go get this reserve tank. Get 100 health. Do I want to try for the gauntlet energy tank? I wonder how difficult it actually is going to be. Maybe I'll save in the vicinity and try it once just to kind of get a handle on it. Oh, that's not going to work. There's nowhere to actually go. It's just a super missile block now. Some stuff has been done like that. Areas where, say, were speed booster blocks have been changed into something like a super missile block. Just to make sure you're still kind of expending something to get in there. I don't even think this does anything. Yeah, like I can't land up there when I speed boost. So we're going to wall jump up. And then do that. And then bomb jump up and over. Aces. I've got 34 energy. Well, I've got a reserve. I got 2 reserve tanks, but one of them's definitely not full. I can't see where I'm morphing at in here. There we go. That's the stuff. Alright. Gravity suit, please. Let's go clear through Brinstar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my ship. We're going to try the Gauntlet E-Tank once from the back. Because going through the front, I got to go through 2 huge lava rooms. Going through the back, I've only got to go through 1. It's really stupid to fight fish monsters right now, Brickroad. Let's get killed before we make it to the ship. How about it? I guess we'll get the missiles on the lake as we go up too. Get that door open. Helps to pre-open doors sometimes, you know? Yeah, get these missiles here. I don't know what I need all these missiles for. It just makes me feel better to have a bunch of missiles. I'm also going to want to take the power bombs in the ship room. Which, again, I typically would not take. But they're going to be very, very useful to us in a particular situation later on in the game. Having more power bombs than usual isn't always necessary, but in the rotator I do find a couple of spots where the extra power bombs are super handy. There's another room you want to make sure you're spin jumping up into because there's nowhere to land if you don't wall jump. And that happens. And the monsters respawn and do 5 damage. So if we mess that up a few more times, we'll be dipping into energy reserves. welcome back to the ship room. We are going to now go to the ship, refill, and then go get those power bombs, and then probably refill again. And then we're saved here for when we try the gauntlet. So you see, if you fall off your ship in the beginning, you've got to do some really difficult wall jumps. You don't have high jump boots at that point in the game, remember. So you're not having a good time in any event. Alright, so we've got almost 700 energy to get through this, and then we'll recharge back at the ship again. So we just jump over here. We're going to go down into this room. Into the acid, as you do. I try not to use the words lava and acid interchangeably when I play Super Metroid, because they're two different types of liquids. The lava has a wavy top, and if you're wearing the gravity suit, it doesn't damage you. The acid has a flat top, an even surface, and the gravity suit does not protect you from damage. This has been your public service announcement on how to tell the difference between lava and acid in Super Metroid. Unless it's neither of it's actually lava or acid. Water is blue. Easy. Easy peasy. Okay. We have 700 energy to make it to the Gauntlet E-Tank. The good news is it's an E-Tank, so if we spend all of our energy getting to it, we get a refill. And I'm only going to try this once. If I don't get it, we're going to go without the E-Tank, and that's fine. I think we'll still survive. We'll be okay. Some jumps become more difficult with the high jump boots. You got to be cognizant of that as well. But with 15 power bombs, we can now do a crystal flash. We can now refill our health if we need to. If we're below 50 health with nothing in the reserve tanks, ow, that's a thing we can do if we find ourselves in the need for it. Make sure you gotta find the right pixel here. I could powerbomb these open, I guess. I can safely use 4 power bombs, or I could just use 0, you know. Ah, here we go up Mushroom Mountain once again. Our old friend. Like, even the map is having difficulty. Like, they had to custom draw some of these map tiles because the shape of the room is slanted in a much different orientation than... In fact, take a look at the map screen here. He has these little question marks off to the side because the map is also wider than it is tall, so the eastern half of Criteria he had to stack way up on top and kind of recode how the map works. Kind of a... If you ask me, it's kind of wasted effort, though, because nobody who... Reasonably, nobody who plays this ROM hack is going to need or use the map. Almost for a certainty. Alright, we're going to try this once, and... How terrifying is this going to be? We're going to hit all these blocks on the way down. There we go. Alright, here we go. Let's blow those up. Good news is we don't have to blow anything up on the way back up. Oh, we gotta go through the pipe here, though. We did use up almost all of our energy just getting down here. Come on, Samus. You got this. Get up out of here. Oh, my goodness. Where my wall jumps at. Oh god. I have bad news, guys. I think we're probably dead. Well... yeah, we're dead. No, we're not! Yeah, we are. Just as we broke through the surface, we got grabbed by a yapping moth. You know what? No. I feel like I learned enough on the first pass. Now I know to place power bombs. Keep my power bombs equipped. You know? I feel like we can make this happen. I feel like we can do it. I feel like I'm getting a level of challenge out of the gauntlet in the rotator that most first-time Super Metroid players would get out of the gauntlet in just vanilla the first time they do it. And that is an exciting bit of exhilaration, knowing that I'm experiencing a piece of the game for the first time again. I wonder if there's a way to make the new bridge feel like that. I didn't get stuck on the new bridge, honestly. The new bridge, if you don't know, it's in Green Brinstar. And it's a crumbling bridge that crumbles faster than you can walk across it. So as long as you hold the dash button... actually, the run button, it's not really... you're not dashing, you're running. Is a distinction that's been pointed out to me over and over again over the years. But as long as you're running, you can make it across the bridge. The reason it's called the new bridge is because you can get to that point in the game without even knowing there is a run button. You've never needed it before. But, like, on the game makes you go to the control setup screen. And one of the buttons you have to configure is a run button. Like, I can see why players wouldn't think to push the run button if they've never done it before, but I don't think you can reasonably argue that you, like, didn't know there was a run button. You know what I mean? In any event, I didn't get stuck there because I knew there was a run button the first time I played the game. Alright, here we go. We're gonna fall down. We're gonna ball down. We're gonna go through here. E-tank. I'm gonna hold left and try to get back to these blocks before they reform. Morph up. That's a waste of a power bomb, but it's okay. We're fine. Make sure we spin jump there. Make sure we spin jump here. And... okay, hold on. This is going to... I think we're going to dip into reserves here when the lava comes back up. I'm sorry, acid. I just made that... I just pointed out the difference, and then I screwed it up again. I'm so sorry. Get me out of there! Whew. I think my ice beam even wore off on that yapping maw, too. But yeah, freezing that yapping maw let me do that jump without getting grabbed. And I think that was part of the fun. So we have the E-tank back that I was sure that I wasn't going to get, and we have no energy now. Can I... hold on. How do I get through here? Do I... there we go. We're stuck on some weird geometry back there. Alright. We should be good to go from this point forward. At least until we get to the next trolley section of the game. On the plus side, I should be able to pick up a little bit of energy here. I don't think I'll really need it, though. Yeah, you know what? We don't really need it. I got 156. That's about as much as I had the first time I came through here. And we're going to grab a lot of energy tanks and Brinstar as we go. So not only... am I not going to be careful, I'm not even going to safety save. I guess I did kind of just repeat myself. The Etikun shaft, obviously, in the rotator is not... you can't really get stuck in it. Of course, if you're playing the rotator, you're not going to make it this far without knowing how to wall jump anyway. How funny would it be if I died to those guys? There are ROM hacks I've seen where those guys do like 100 damage per tick. It's insane. Not sure why you play those ROM hacks. I certainly won't. I have yet to find a Super Metroid ROM hack that I've actually enjoyed as much as the original game. That's including the rotation. Which, I mean, yeah, it's fun in its own right, but it's also just kind of a silly novelty. We don't really have to go down the Etikun shaft at all. There's power bombs down there, but I've got 15. Do I want to pick them up? We're about to pick some up in Brinstar anyway. I think as long as I've got like 20, I should be good for the whole run. The real prize in there was the supers and the energy tank, I think. Rare appearance of the speed booster. You don't see that very often in rotation. Although we will momentarily be reaching the one item in the game that does actually require it. I don't even think you can enter the Dakora shaft in this game. I don't see how you would. There's nowhere to charge up a Shine Spark, and nowhere to launch one from either. Head in here. So this is the room with the wave beam gate, and the wave beam gate has been removed just because all gates have been removed. But we still have to fight the big guys. And we still couldn't have come in here earlier because you need a power bomb to get in. I guess there's not really any reason to go back to Blue Brinstar. There is. I'm going to grab some power bombs there. I don't... actually, it might not have saved any time over the Etikun shaft, but there's really no need to grab both of them. That room exiting from it's a good example of how top-facing doors are strange, because there's not actually... that door wasn't actually anchored to anything. It's just kind of floating in space. So you just kind of have to know where the door transition is. Alright, we're going to go back down here now. And head up this way. And the shape of this room has also been altered. So you can charge Speed Booster here. Typically these slopes aren't here. But you do need the Speed Booster. And I guess the Gravity Suit. Actually, this might be obtainable without the Gravity Suit. I'm not sure what happens if you try to Shine Spark and you hit water. This might be the only place anywhere... certainly there's nowhere in vanilla Metroid that does that. I am going to find out for science. We're going to turn off the Gravity Suit. The Speed Booster is still usable without the Gravity Suit. But we're going to find out what happens when you speed boost into water. It just works. You can Shine Spark straight through it, like it's not even there. Unless that's a contrivance they added for the hack to make some of the underwater physics work, which is possible, but I'm not really sure why you would do that. Anyway, I think we can all agree that it was necessary to do that for science. Thank you for indulging me. By the way, here's Samus. I don't know why these blocks here are not opaque, but they're not. And away we go. Yeah, we're going to dip our toes into Blue Brinstar here. We've already got the E-Tank out of here, but I want to get the power bombs. We'll be coming back up through here. Actually, we won't be leaving this room. I just want to grab these, and then we can leave. We could go all the way to the end and pick up some missile packs, but I got enough missiles, you know? Sometimes a lady has too many missiles. I think if you were to ask Samus, she would say that she's never in that state. You can never have too many missiles. But I'm the one holding the controller, and I don't feel like going to get them. So, continue on our way down here. That's all the energy tanks I think I want to get. Make sure we fall down the correct side of the new bridge without touching the spickety spikes. That would be tragic. Alright. Yeah, there's nothing else I want to get in that direction, so we're going to go back down through the teeth room one more time. And head in through Meridia. Bypass where the gate would be. And now we're in Meridia without having to break the tube. There's another entrance right near the tube that you can also use. Either way is fine. Follow your heart. Do what you feel is right. But what I really like about Meridia now... I mean, we're skipping some supers and stuff that are over there. That's whatever. What I really like about Meridia now is we powerbomb our way in here. I'm going to have to think about how Meridia fits together for a second to see if I really know what I'm doing. There's a chance I don't know what I'm doing. Can I get the supers in this room, I wonder? Because they should just be right there. I bet they just changed the speed blocks into something else. Yeah, the powerbomb blocks. So instead of speed boostering up, or riding good old Armando the Snail... Oh, that's right. It's a pair of powerbomb and then a super missile block. Is how these are accessible now. Which is good, because I don't know how Armando the Snail could even be of any use to us. Actually, the missiles embedded in the wall early on in Meridian, the room just above the tube, are still blocked off with speed blocks, and I don't know how you would get them. But check this room out. I love this. Because the sand tunnels are still here. And you can just walk through them now. And maybe you never have, like, actually thought much about these sand rooms, because why would you, right? They're just sand rooms. But look where it deposits you. The reason this room is lovely is because we're on the far side of Botswoon. You don't have to fight Botswoon in the rotation. You can just walk through the sand tunnels. That makes me extremely happy. Fighting Botswoon might be the low point of the game for me, just in general. Like, it's just a boring fight, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it, and I do think we're going to take the safety save before Dragon. I think this is a save room up here, is it not? And I might take the... E-Tank from Mama Turtle on the way out, too. Yeah, this is a save room. So the next room must be like a missile room, but we're already good to go. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I saw this Dragon room, my heart made a sound like... Except it was like making that sound and at the same time saying, "Why, Brickroad? Why are you doing this?" But I put together a strategy, and I can always go get the grappling beam if you're really having trouble against Dragon. The grappling beam is always there for you. But I put together a strat that I think works pretty well. So here we go. First things first, we're going to try to destroy this thing and this thing so they don't shoot at us. And that thing there, I think we hit it. Let's just jump up and make sure. We did. Okay. So you don't have a lot of room to ball back and forth here. So we're just going to ball back and forth between these two sections here. This is all the room we have to play with. And sometimes I'll overshoot and I'll take some damage from the electricity. And that's fine when that happens. That's okay. Otherwise, the fight is basically the same. But you see why I wanted to try to grab a couple extra energy tanks. Spin that D-pad! Spin that D-pad! Let me go. Thank you. You do not want to run out of power bombs in this fight. Not even a little bit. Not even, like, don't even joke about that. Missiles is whatever. Running out of super missiles is fine. We can rapid fire missiles now. Looking pretty red there, Miss Dragon. I think we've got your number, baby. I think we're going to get out of here. How about some, hey, there we go. Oh, I got tagged by goop. If you get tagged by goop, it scares her off. I should say if you get tagged by goop while a power bomb is going, it scares her off, I mean. Otherwise, if you get tagged by goop, she just grabs you and tries to whack you with her tail. 200 health, that's not bad. That was not a bad Dragon fight. But I think I lost this fight twice before I'm like, alright, cool out, it's got to be possible. Because without room to maneuver, dealing with that gunk is a lot trickier. The good news is, once I get up here, we will have this base jump. Once I get up here, there we go. So all she needs is one pixel. One pixel to grab and she can wall jump. Alright, kids. It's about that time. Now, I mentioned we can get into Lower Norfair using the back door, using what is typically the Lower Norfair exit. However, I still don't want to do that because I still want to get the screw attack. So just like normal, we're going to go get the plasma beam first. We're going to fight off a bunch of Metroids. I guess the idea in the lore is that the space pirates got a hold of the baby Metroid and have started to repopulate Zebus's Metroid population. Repopulate the population, you know, that redundant sentence that I just said. But the Metroids were like a failed branch or something of Metroid evolution, and for some reason they just dumped them into the planet's water supply. Which is what I would do with a bunch of evil jellyfish monsters. But yeah, we still definitely want the screw attack. We want as many supers as we can get, because we're not going back to the ship before Lower Norfair. We're just going to get the plasma beam and then head straight there. But these rooms in Meridia are always jam-packed with super missiles. The evil cacti are always more than happy to oblige. Do I want to hit up Mama Turtle? We might be okay not hitting up Mama Turtle on the way out. Nine energy tanks plus 2 reserves. That's not the right way at all. See what I mean? I get lost in these Meridia rooms. I don't know where I'm going. This is where we're going. Yeah, here we go. All we need now that we have Super Metroid rotation and Super Metroid randomizer, I mean, you agree, right? Like, the obvious next step is we need a Super Metroid randomizer rotation? Or have I reached too high for too bright a star? Alright, plasma has happened. Good. There is no top to this room. Apparently. Yeah, I think I will hit up Mama Turtle. I think the extra E-Tank is going to be extremely helpful. Maybe you're a step ahead of me and you realize why I want an extra couple hundred energy if I can possibly swing it. Alright, head back up this way. We'll head down the big tube. That'll put us back towards the entrance area of Meridia, and we'll make our way to Mama Turtle from there. Oh, watch the big tube. Here we go. Because now it's a running tube. Yeah! Actually, it's more like a conveyor tube, because she wasn't actually running at all. Ooh, I can get 2. Hold on, hold on. I can get 2 extra E-Tanks, actually. So we can go in here first and use the same trick as before. Maybe. I just gotta find the right sand fall. There we go. This should be the Meridia Reserve Tank. And so it is. This is another extra 100 energy that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And it's just really easy to grab. You don't have to go all the way around the whole level twice to get it now. You just get it. It's not actually an extra reserve tank, so I'm getting this instead of the Norfair reserve tank that I usually get. So that's just a replacement reserve tank. The sand still does drag you to the left, though, so just space jumping through it is still kind of a schnozzle. It's just a schnozzle of a slightly different color. I think it's easier to get through than the regular sand, though, because you're not fighting it going up, you're just fighting it going in a direction. So you just hold the other direction and you're fine. Oh, that's not a door. I didn't spin jump through it. And I couldn't shoot that guy facing down because then I would have opened the door below me and fell through again. And you don't want to do any of that. So this room will not have a gate. That's where the gate typically would be. Let's go say hey yo sup to Big Mama Turtle. And I guess we'll grab the missiles in there as well. Why wouldn't we? No crazy handy-dandy wall jumps required for Big Mama Turtle. Even if you didn't have the space jump, it's pretty easy because you can just walk up there. There's also no water in this room for whatever reason. Not really sure why. This will also work as an energy refill for me, which I may or may not need. But then there's an energy refill after the gold chorizo as well. Which again, I made... Oh, there's water. It's just really low. So now is another time where we want to sit and think. Think about the rooms you typically traverse in Lower Norfair, and think about which ones are going to be enormous pains in the butt going forward in this hack. You can probably guess, if you really think about how the rooms fit together. Oh no! How's he gonna do that room? Don't worry. We got this. I'm actually coming up this way just because I do actually want to blow the Meridia tube. Just for funsies, if you've never come to the tube from the wrong side before, you can still blow it up. There you go, it's gone. There's another entrance into Meridia in that room there, if you really want to use it. But I find doing the Brinstar run, getting all the energy tanks and such out of Brinstar, kind of dumps you out in the pink Brinstar area earlier. So that's the route that I'm going to take. There's no need to save in this room here. We're going to take the save point in Lower Norfair, and we're going to treat Lower Norfair with great respect. I do not have a lot of power bombs. There's a spot where I can refill power bombs, and I think I'm going to use it once I get into get into the area near to Lower Norfair. This is the wrong way. Where am I going? Where am I going indeed? We want to go up through here, don't we? Yeah, this looks more correct to me. Hey, where'd those buzzy beetles come from? Yeah, here we go. It still kind of marvels me how that's not a heat room. That extremely looking dark, like red room is not a heated room. Man, I'm glad we're not going that way. I mean, the lava can't hurt us. It's the acid in Lower Norfair that's going to hurt us when we get there. This room is fine. Very orange. Citrusy, almost. Alright, we should get some... Yeah, all of these guys are going to drop power bombs for me. And I think I'm going to farm them once or twice after I open this door. So I'd rather have more than 13 power bombs before going in. Supers we can refresh a little bit on gold chorizo. And then the room after the screw attack has a bunch of rippers that typically have super missiles on them. So I think supers are fine. I just really want to make sure I've got enough power bombs. Alright, 19. That's pretty good. I do have fewer supers than I typically have because I typically pick up a pack in Meridia that I didn't get. Ow. The citrus spikes got me. Let's use this save point here. Heading down into the proper entrance of Lower Norfair. I could have come in the back way, but I really, really want that screw attack. To the left. Here we go. And I immediately fell in the acid. Not off to a fantastic start. Yeah, we're going to treat Lower Norfolk with great respect. We're going to make sure we clear the path as we go. We're still going to get flamed on by these fire jets. At least the door's open now. The only place to stand to open that door, just below the door, has a fire jet coming out of it. So the problem with traveling this direction in Lower Norfair is you're pretty much going into every single room. Every single room, you're starting out in the acid. There we go. Actually, I could have cleared that with a power bomb, been a little easier, and I could have saved 200 health. I don't want to fall in the acid again here. There we go. Lower the room, please. So, a lot of these Lower Norfair rooms are gigantic, and a lot of them have acid in the bottom, which means a lot of these rooms are just going to be filled with acid. And the Chozo statue is doing some weird stuff. We're just going to have to live with that. Oh, that was too early, wasn't it? I guess not. You know what? The spring ball might have been a good get. I might have, should have, could have thought about getting that. Oh, I didn't have the grapple beam, though. And I don't... Maybe there's a way to glitch through it like we did in the randomizer. Can I just bomb this? Oh, they want me to power bomb it, huh? Alright, let's get my supers here. Let's see if we can find the magic pixel for the gold chorizo. Right here? Nope. It's too close. There we go. I think if you're standing, he can still hit you with something. If you're ducking, he can't. The way to aim up while ducking is to hold both aim buttons. If you hold R and L, which are the default aim buttons, you'll aim directly up even if you're ducking. That's not as many supers as I would have liked to see, and some of them are hidden up here, and I didn't have time to get them anyway. Alright, so we're going forward with 24 supers and 15 power bombs. And we have the screw attack, and I'm down 400 energy, so I'm going to take this energy recharge here. Last lifeline before Ridley. So now we've got to make it the rest of the way on our own volition. I want to try to grab as many of these super missiles as we can. Oh, no we don't, because the acid. We just want to go down. We don't want to mess with this room at all. Never mind. Never mind. I mean, that's kind of a fun room, though. Just fall through with the screw attack. Alright. I think with these guys, if you're in Morph Ball mode, none of their shots can hit you. If you're completely morphed. But again, we're going to treat these guys with respect. We're not just going to blitz forward, guns a-blazing. Oh, I dropped my spin jump. Can I still get ahead of the acid here? Not, just barely, but we're fine. Okay, so there's an E-tank down through that bottom door there. And there's a save point coming up right here that I'm going to make use of. Last save point before Ridley. The Ridley fight is not super troublesome. I think the Ridley fight is actually a little easier because it's a horizontally oriented room rather than a vertically oriented one. And what that means is he can't fly off screen where you can't see him. You can always see exactly what he's doing. There's still a problem, though. I'm about to drop into a room that has acid. In this room, there's a block along the left-hand wall that you have to break and go through. In rotation, it's on the ceiling, because the ceiling is the left-hand wall, and it's hidden underneath the UI, and the room's filled with acid. But it should be right here. Oh, that could not have gone better. The first time I entered that room in rotation, I think the second time too, I couldn't find the correct block. And I had a devil of a time. I think the first time I died, and the second time I came out with like 30 hit points left. But this time I knew. I was ready for it. Go in with power bombs equipped, Brickroad. We want... This should actually be broken, because I power bombed. Yeah, it's broken. Alright, now, the next boss fight is actually not Ridley, it is the Elite Pirates, and they're butts, because of the shape of the room is so much different. You'll see what I mean. I don't have a really great way to fight them. We're just gonna try our best. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna lose my charge. No, I'm not. We're fine. Oh, and that's the problem. If you shoot down at them, you end up opening the door, and you gotta start the fight all over. And this room being vertically oriented means it's really difficult to see what you're doing. And then you just get kicked to death by assholes. Okay, I got them stacked up, which is good. They're both on one side. So they'll spin over here, they'll spin back over here. That's one shot. I think I need to do 2 more of those. Ah! How many more times do I plan to do that? I hear you ask. Now they're not going to be stacked up anymore. Okay, they're stacked up. Over here. Come on. Come on. Oh, I fired through the wall, not down where I was supposed to. Alright, just don't hit the door. We'll be alright. Yeah. This is the worst fight in the game now. Okay. 380 energy left. Do not fall down the door before opening the gray door, Brickroad. There you go. Now we can just jump past the pirates if we need to. So this acid room is fun. And this acid room is fun. Okay, let's murder some of these monsters here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use all. We only had 31 bucks in the bank. Okay. Each dip in the acid, we're gonna take What, about 50 damage, give or take? Just about. So this should put me at 47. Okay, 67. We need to go a little lower than that. Yeah, here we go. Aim up, aim down, hold power bomb. Give me that sweet, sweet refill. Ridley just kills you if you try to do this inside of the Ridley fight, which is why it was important to do this now, and it's also why it was important to have a few extra power bombs to make sure I had at least 11 coming into this room. Okay, the first thing we have going for us is we don't actually have lava in the Ridley fight. And it's there, but it doesn't actually go up high enough to damage you. You can just kind of stand on the floor and shoot at him and almost always hit him, which is just nice. So this fight's going to go nice and easy. So Dragon and the Elite Pirates are much, much harder. Many of the bosses don't change at all. Kraid can retreat into the wall if he wants because he's a known coward, and Ridley is much, much easier. But getting to Ridley is an ordeal and a half. Got him. No problem. So yeah, only 200 health to Ridley, but it took like 1,000 health to make it to him. And of course, we can grab the E-Tank up here now. Which is conveniently located inside of the acid. And then there's also an E-Tank on the way out of Lower Norfair. There is one block that opens up here somewhere, isn't there? Yeah, if you hit the floor with your super missiles by accident, then there's a spot where you can stand in and the acid will hit you. But why would you be aiming at the floor with a super missile, I ask you? Going back is nice and easy because we're going down through the acid instead of having to jump up through it. Don't have to worry about these jabronis anymore. Bye, guys. I'm sure there's a nice easy strat that you can get through those pirates every time. I'm sure somebody out there knows it. If you do, have them put it in a Valentine's Day card and send it to me for my consideration later. We'll have no trouble getting out of here now, I don't think. Still need to power bomb our way out, though. So yeah, having 11 power bombs is super, super handy. So you can make sure to get that refill. I'm not even going to safety save on the way out of Lower Norfair. That's how confident I am we can make it to the ship for our last refill of the game, and then down into Torian and Mother Brain. So the last thing in the game that does kind of change significantly is... yeah, we're going to take this E-Tank. Is the Torian escape sequence is considerably different. For reasons that should be obvious. And it's possible I might get lost. And it's possible we might not make it out. So, because of that, I will be taking the point of no return save. The only major flaw Super Metroid has that I'm aware of is the very last save point in the game is on the other side of a gray door in Torian. So once you save there, you can never ever go back to previous points in the game to like look for items that you missed or anything. The reason they do that is because it's on the far side of the Baby Metroid cutscene. And at that point in the game, you're kind of locked into the end game. Oh yeah, there's an acid room here. I knew that. However, because I'm not interested in exploring the whole world all over again, we will be using that point of no return save. Just in case I screw up the escape sequence and we gotta fight Mother Brain 6 times. I know. When you guys tuned into this Let's Play series, however many episodes ago it was, what you really wanted was to fight Mother Brain 6 times. But because this passage is not blocked off with crumble blocks, you can totally take it as soon as you get to Upper North there, and I think the speedrun does. I think the speedrun takes Ridley this early on. Which I know I've seen the speedrun of this game because that's how I was introduced to it. The speedrun at one of the gaming marathons. And I was like, oh, that looks cool, I'm gonna download it. And then I got stuck in like the 4th room of the game. And I probably yelled a lot. I guess there's no reason not to. If you've got the skills to pay those bills, you might as well. You, sir, are just stuck in a wall. You know what? I'm going to leave you to your fate, and you can just think about what you've done to that wall. Please don't accidentally send me through that door. That'd be a really bad door to go into. I guess not anymore because it's a lava room, so I can't take damage from the lava in there. I want to say it took me 3 tries to get to the green bubble room the first time I played this, since the Varia doesn't prevent you from taking damage from the lava. And I didn't realize that there was an alternate path to the green bubble room. A lot of this game had to be relearned, because it's such a simple thing. Yeah, this missile pack here, I don't think there's another way to get it. I don't... Yeah, it's still speed blocks blocking it off. I don't know how you would get into it. Maybe you can't. Maybe you just cannot get 100 in this. Maybe there's just a really esoteric way to get the, to get a Shine Spark charge and at just the right angle from just the right place. Maybe I'm just hungry. It just occurred to me that I have not eaten any food today at all. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat Mother Brain 6 times, as agreed. And then I'm going to have some chicken wings. This door is having a bad day. You know what? We're just going to let the door have its feelings. We're not going to judge. We're going to let it do what it needs to door. Or door what it needs to do. However doors work. I don't actually know. Doors in Super Metroid do not have souls like the doors in Soul Blazer do. Alright. Back to the ship one last time to get our recharge, and then on to Torium. Getting to Mother Brain is no more difficult than usual. Fighting Mother Brain is about the same. For obvious reasons, the escape is a little tighter. Which 2 E-Tanks did I not get? I didn't get Crocomeyer's E-Tank, because I didn't fight Crocomire at all. And where else did I not pick up an E-Tank? I got the ones in Meridia. Oh, the back door of the wrecked ship. We understandably did not want to go through that room or backtrack through it. The good news is, this jump is not stupid anymore. Now that we have screw attack, we can just jump up through it. Yeah. Only 35 supers. That feels low to me. I know I skipped a bunch in Meridia that I usually get. It's just a different calculus, you know? It's a different, like... certain items are easier to reach, certain items are harder to reach, and the path in rotation is just doesn't favor me getting a lot of super missile packs that I otherwise would have picked up. So I guess that made the Ridley fight a little harder, but I need so much energy just to get to Ridley that it just did not matter. Also, this room is broken. I thought this was a red door. Yeah, this room is broken. Guys, this whole ROM hack is a little broken. I don't know what happened to Ridley or Phantoon. But only Kraid and Dragon have come out to play today. Dragon, of course, being everybody's favorite. They're all taking their sweet time to die. And the background of the room seems to have vanished. And also, they don't send out little ghosts when they erupt. I think when we actually go through here to the bottom, that's where we're going to see Phantoon and Ridley. For some reason, the statue is like split in half and already partially sunken. It's really, really weird. Oh no, I guess Ridley and Phantoon are just gone. They're just nowhere. Alright, welcome to Torian. We are not going to have any issues. Yes, we will. No, Torian is terrible. Hold on, hold on. No, Torian, I just remembered. We have to kill all the Metroids while the acid is rising on us. And... forgot about the acid. Nope, we are taking the save, and we're going to play this nice and safe. Okay, back to work. Alright, we're already off to a killer start. It's one down. Two down. The trick here is you don't want to fall all the way down if it happens. Ah, like that. That's not what I wanted. Shoot. Actually, that wasn't too bad. Okay, so we're at max health still. I think right here is the right platform. There it was. Oh, that was not a spin jump. Brickroad, where's your spin jump at? There it is. Let's not drop a space jump here. That would be tragic. Okay, one room down. We're only down 50 energy. That was actually not bad. Okay, get grabbed because I pushed item select and not item cancel. But actually 3 power bombs to kill Metroids isn't a terrible... is not a terrible burden. So this room, I think we're going to fall down into the acid, but the problem is you want to keep these Metroids loaded. But at least we don't have to climb up when we're done. Excuse you. Try to land on that guy. I don't know if I hit him or not. Guess we're about to find out. The good news is, it's actually a lot easier to throw away your energy when you get to the actual Baby Metroid fight. Because we're not going to have a lot of energy in the first place. Alright. Okay, I think we made it through. I think the butt can unclench, at least for a minute here. Do not die to side hoppers this late in Tori and Brickroad. What are you doing? What's your malfunction, man? Sorry, Chozo statue. Had to be done. I mean, I don't think you can get past the Chozo statue in the original without crumbling it, but this one puts it right on top of the door. So, there is a skip that people do in Vanilla Super Metroid where they get through this room without letting the big Metroid grab onto you. Something tells me that skip is not possible in rotation. Or if it is, it's way, way more difficult. I have actually spent a lot of time trying that. There was a period of time way back in the day, back in the GameFAQs message board days, where people weren't certain whether it could be skipped or not. Like, the method hadn't been found, and so a bunch of us just spent time trying to do it, and as far as I know, nobody from that time actually succeeded. That was something that came quite a bit later. I think the Zebatites in this hack can be damaged with just the plasma beam and don't require missiles. Because again, when we go up into that room, we are going to be going up into acid. That's going to rise and rise and rise until we get to the mother brain. Excuse you. Can I please? No? What's the right pixel here? There you go. That took a lot of super missiles, but I finally got to the end of it. Alright, so this is the... Oh, you know what? It didn't turn gray. The door is not gray in this version. Just in case you want to go back and rotate some more, I suppose. I wonder if anybody's tried to rotate the game 90 degrees the other direction. Instead of rotating the whole game clockwise, how about trying to rotate the whole game counterclockwise? I wonder if that was a consideration, and for some reason it didn't pan out. Yeah, you can just plasma beam these in this hack, for whatever reason. They just let you do that. I guess they figure, you know what? Anybody playing this hack has fought a million Zebatites in their day. There's no reason to have more Zebatites on hand. Why bother? Don't knock me through the hole. I might take out Mother Brain before the acid even gets here. Beautiful. Pretty close to what you want to see. Alright, let's throw away some health here. Because this fight is not appreciably more difficult. Although, again, just like Fantoon, you see we do have a little bit less room to work with. But she tends to not move forward anyway. In practice, it's just going to mean the angle in our shots is a little different. And again, if I go below 300 health, I'm going to drink a little bit of my reserve tank. But we don't have to sit through more than one candy laser. I'm sorry, did you try to catch-up beam me? But I got up and over it? Like a boss? And there's the candy laser. We are good as gold. Not quite, because we still got to get out of the escape. We still have to, Again, the escape from Torian has some of those rooms, like these big, kind of oddly shaped rooms that you don't really think about the layout of. You just kind of know the path through. So hopefully I don't get lost. Also, there's some weird purple nonsense down there underneath where Samus is kneeling, just like underneath the floorboards. We're just going to go ahead and ignore that. We're just going to assume, like, the asbestos guy came through and accidentally left some insulation behind, or... maybe you shouldn't... Space pirates shouldn't be using asbestos as insulation in the first place. I don't know why my mind went directly to asbestos. And there's one more acid room ahead of us. We are not totally done with the acid rooms yet. Oh my goodness, I really did almost poop myself. I completely forgot that Torian had those acid rooms. That first room fighting the Metroids going up. That room took a bite out of me the first time I did it. I don't think I took a loss there. But it definitely caught me off guard, that's for sure. Definitely was not expecting it. Alright, Mother Brain. We've been doing this a lot lately, you and I, doing this same dance. Yeah, you're going to see more shots than usual kind of deflect off her hands, just because Samus is standing about a block closer to her than I normally would be during this cutscene. But it's still a matter of doing little short hops and putting the candy laser right on the button. It's actually not the candy laser that kills Mother Brain. What happens is you shove so much of that gross purple stuff back up into her throat that she chokes to death. And that causes her to explode because she's an alien. Alright, time bomb set, escape immediately. Let's go. We got 3 minutes to remember how to get out of here. So we're starting... I think I want to hold right here. No, we got to go down a little bit. I think I want to hold right from here. Because usually you'd run along the bottom of the room and jump up. But I don't think we can do that this time. Oh, I should not have fell all the way down here. Can I get up here, maybe? Yeah, that's correct. And then I can come down here. Word. And then we're going to go up this way. Is this room filled with acid? I actually don't remember. Roll through here. I wonder if you can perfectly put a mock ball down here and just zip right through that. That'd be neat. I think we are going to have an acid issue here in a second. I think my entrance is up top. Yes, because this is where you typically jump up to the left, so we just want to go up and over this time. So we should be going into the old Torian escape now. Do I need to... I don't have any... hello? There we go. Just had to blow up the correct block. Maybe an X-ray scope would have helped. But I about threw down a power bomb. Like, you can't throw down a power bomb. Mother Brain's candy laser stole them all. Oh yeah, we're getting acided now. It's acid time. That's 200 damage. And now's when you gotta ask yourself, surely, in rotation, surely Brickroad is going to save the animals. Of course he is. Twice now, in a row, he hasn't saved any animals on the way out. And for the third time in a row, you are disappointed, because I'm absolutely not saving any animals. Are you kidding me? We're rotated. I don't need rotated animals on my ship. It'd be a tragedy if I didn't land on my ship here, wouldn't it? Ah, but I did. And instead of flying off into space to escape, Samus instead just flies back up into the planet right through the door that she just left. So we're just going back into the big explosion. It actually makes me happy to know that somewhere out there, at least one or two people are like really mad that I'm not saving the animals. Like somebody out there is like seething about it, or I like to think so. I feel like I've explained myself well enough, though. I don't have to explain my rationale for not saving the animals anymore to you people. And I don't even think you can get to the Decora room in rotation. I don't even think it's possible. How would you? So it took me longer to get through this than it did to do the Hundo run recently. This was Super Metroid Rotation. There is infinity Super Metroid ROM hacks out there. People have been Super Metroid ROM hacking since way back in the day. I know Super Metroid Redesign and Super Metroid Impossible are the two that are most well known, I think. I think the issue with Super Metroid ROM hacks, though, is they tend to be designed by experts at the game. And if you're an expert at a game, you tend to overestimate what a standard player is able to do. Just going off memory, and this is going back 15 years now, but Redesign, I remember the problem was, for me, wasn't that it was too hard in terms of doing wall jumps or bomb jumps, but there weren't enough save points around. You had to go through huge stretches of games without a save point. One ROM hack I've actually got on the channel if you want to go look at it. A good friend of mine played Super Metroid Iris, which is, I don't remember how old it is. It might have been new at the time when we recorded it, but even that was like 8 years ago now. Which again, he likes it because he's a maniac for Super Metroid. He plays ROM hacks all the time, but this one he thought I would enjoy, and I downloaded it and tried it, and I'm like, nope, it has all the typical ROM hacky problems, and I'm not really into it. That kind of design has a place. I particularly like the Kaizo community in Super Mario Maker, people who make the crazy Kaizo and troll levels for each other, but I don't enjoy playing those kinds of things. Similarly, I do enjoy watching speedruns of Metroid ROM hacks, kind of from the standpoint of just looking at the crazy things designers think regular players can do. Metroid Impossible, in particular, was designed to be like a Kaizo Mario style thing, where the idea is you don't play this game on a console. You play it on an emulator where you've got save states, and you have rewind, and you can retry every frame as much as you want. Kind of like a TAS-only game. A lot of Mario ROM hacks, especially from that era, were designed like that. Go ahead and Deer Force if you feel the need. Nowadays, obviously, the best Super Metroid players in the world are playing it without the save states and the slowdown and the other tools. But that is a door that I cannot walk through, my friends. If you wish to peek your head into that rabbit hole, you must go alone and without me. But Rotation is right about on my level, and I'm glad that I got to share it with you. I got 60% of the items and 90% of the way turned clockwise. See you next mission. Shoutouts to William Sheets for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and ring my little bell.